This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell. Joining me today in the studio, fully masked and socially distanced, we have the Toledo Symphony's Marketing Director, Vanessa Gardner. We also have a special guest. That is the TSO's Director of Education and Community Engagement, making a return appearance. You got to bring out your walk-on music again.
Here I go. I'm strutting my stuff.
Please welcome Rachel Schultz back again. And on the phone, by the way, we have Merwin Sue and Elaine Trudell. So,
oh, by the way.
glad that everyone could join us today. Rachel, there's a special reason that you're here. And that is because
Zach's not here.
Because Zach is not here. We had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to get you in here. But we're glad that you were there. If you're listening to the broadcast version of this podcast, this concert is actually happening tonight. It is the winner's concert for the Young Artist Competition with Toledo Symphony. Rachel, I'm going to give you a little music and give us a little background on the Young Artist Competition. Then we'll talk about what's happening in this program, because this is a really important part of music making in our community. So let me pull up a little music for you. There we go. That's nice.
This is very nice. Okay, so the Young Artist Competition is put on by the Toledo Symphony League. So they're a group of volunteers that are really, they support the symphony, and they very much support education, especially with the symphony. So mostly they're ladies, and they do such a great job of taking care of our musicians, but also taking care of our young musicians. So they started this competition, I don't even know how many years ago. It was open to all instruments, and people could come in and they would perform. The judges would select winners, and then the students would perform a movement of a concerto with the symphony. So it's really exciting that they get to do that, a huge opportunity for these young kids. Now, a couple years ago, we wanted to make it a little bit more local. So Merwin and I, along with the league and Ellen, put some guidelines on like geographic barriers and stuff. So we have been able to feature musicians from our area, which is really great. Yeah. Now, this year, because of pandemic, we did not have live auditions. They submitted a video, and also because of pandemic, they're not able to play their concerto with the orchestra because we can't have these, such big orchestras. Right. So Merwin had this really great idea, thinking back to some of his most meaningful experiences as a young musician. And one of them was when he got to be a member of a chamber group with professional musicians. And so he said, what if we try to recreate that? So that is what's happening at the concert tonight. Each of our young artists, and we have 3 of them, have been assigned and have been working with TSO musicians for the past couple of weeks to prepare a movement or an entire work of chamber music.
Wow, that's great. No, not working. Oh well. I tried to get an applause, so we have to fake applause. Yay!
Yay!
I couldn't get my soundboard to work. Oh no, that means I can't get the buzzer or anything to work. Oh well. Hang on a second. Let's see if it works now. No. There we go.
I think that was actually just replaying what we just did.
Excellent. Okay. We're going to cut all of that out. No, we're not going to cut it out. There's no cutting in Toledo Symphony Lab. No. Well, tell us a little bit about the music that they're going to play, the chamber works, and maybe, I don't know, Merwin, you want to chime in on this? I know Rachel had a secret code she was going to whistle or something if she wanted you to join in. So there we go. There's your whistle.
Well, we worked with these amazing young artists to select repertoire.
Hang on a second. Hang on.
Would you like it music?
Okay, there you go. Go for it.
Well, we worked with these amazing young artists to select music kind of in conjunction with their teachers to make sure this was something that felt pedagogically appropriate for them in their stage of development. And So we're featuring works by Rachmaninoff and Arensky. Our piano winner, Lauren Jin, is going to be performing the first movement of Rachmaninoff's second elegiac trio. And then Sam, our cello winner, he's going to be performing with his teacher, Amy, in a very unusual string quartet by Anton Arensky. And the Arensky string quartet that we're playing actually features two cellos, which is very unusual. Typically, string quartets feature two violins, one viola, and one cello. We have yet to get the really cool two viola string quartet, but we're going to get there soon. And then our flute winner, Caroline, is performing the Mozart D major K285 flute quartet.
See, I got it working now. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? I want to mention the full names of these young performers, and let me find it here. So it's Lauren Jin, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Lauren Jin, Sam Kim, and Caroline Hanna.
Caroline is the flute player, and Sam plays the cello. Elaine, let me ask you, what advice do you have for these young musicians? I mean, a lot of young folks starting out today or who want to make music their career, have been through this entire year of pandemic restructuring, as it were. Do you think that they should be in any way discouraged from following a career, or should they find some sort of inspiration? I mean, I sort of know what you're going to say because you're an inspirational guy. So I'm just curious what your advice is to these young performers.
Well, it's been interesting this year because, in one way, people have to be to rely on their on different skills, like to be able to record, to film, and often those things, there's no redo. You just go and then and for them, they can sit right away. And for all of us, I remember I did a bunch of like the quartets and octets by myself, and they're difficult to do. So because if you make a mistake on the second last note, then you have to redo it again. And for competition, it's like that. But there's no public. Usually, when there's a public, or even if the public is only a jury, not only, but if there's a few people which consists the jury, it's still, you don't think about playing, about performing. You just try to share music, even if you don't know that you're doing that. So this year has been I don't want to say positive, but the part that made people a little bit better is that they were able to just perform things and to share them on the different platforms. And we got to do things a bit differently. But what's difficult is that we've been, everybody, that they've been playing alone. They haven't been doing orchestra. They haven't been, not much. And they haven't been like this concerto. They will not play with the orchestra. But one very, very positive thing is that they're playing chamber music, which is this is the essence of how to be a musician, how to play in the orchestra, because orchestra, we think of, 60 people. Eventually, we think of 60 to 80 people. Right now, we're thinking like 30 to 40, but, eventually, even if it's, let's say, 20, you still play with the person next to you, but you play with the person across you. All of those, it's like how to act in society, how to be together, how to, this is not my moment. This is your moment. I will support your moment. Now I have to take my place because it's my moment. And now these are skills that kids can learn and apply to many other things than music. Right. So yes, of course, I always encourage to say, listen, if this is something, there's talent there, and you can play together, and especially you get this wonderful opportunity to play with your mentors, in some way on stage, with playing the music of great composers. Well, this is a very, very positive thing for them. And it might change, sometimes it changes your life even more than playing a concerto that you've learned a bunch of, all your part, you do your thing. The concerto is all about leadership. It's a little bit about communication, yes. Yeah. It's a little bit about sharing with the other musician, but it's a lot about leadership. Like when you conduct a concerto, you want the soloist to know where they're going. If this is the direction, we go with you. Chamber music, it's another layer of ship that we have in there. So they're going to gain a lot from that. And some of it might be, and I know it's a big word, but it might be life-changing for some of them. It might be like, oh, wow, okay, this is what making music is. It's not necessarily to perform for the camera, my phone, to share it, which is great too. But it's really about this communication that goes like that. So, I'm half answering your question, but no, it's okay. Just I want to get that point across, I guess. But I think this is a wonderful way of doing it. And you know what? We should keep some of that in future editions. That's one thing that COVID taught us, is that we're going to do things differently as we move along.
Yeah.
And some of those things that we've developed, some of those skills or techniques that we developed, we got to keep some of those in the competition. And I think we'll have some nice discussion after this edition.
Yeah, great.
I actually wanted.
Go ahead, it's safe now. You can talk. It's okay.
I wanted to.
And you waited for the complete applause.
Yes.
I just wanted to follow up and ask a question about this, because I know that this is something that, Alain, that you've kind of had very much in your life, and maybe also to throw this open to Rachel and Vanessa as well, because all of you have been performers and are performers. But like, there's something very special about being coached by a great professional. But when you're actually, a young musician and you're actually playing as a colleague with somebody with significantly more experience, and you're kind of appearing as their equal, there's something that it's a greater sense of responsibility, and you really learn so much. And it was something that it really absolutely was life-changing for me. And I know, Alain, you've had that experience, as a young musician, being put on the same stage as people, like with significantly more experience, but you had to appear as an equal with them. And I just wanted to maybe get your sense of like how that may have changed your life. And again, Rachel and Vanessa, if you also have similar experiences, it would be great to hear about those as well.
Well, okay. Well, you know what, Merwin? I'm going to say something that's not politically correct necessarily. Is that anybody can say anything. You have a coaching with, quote unquote, a master. They can tell you anything. If they don't have to play, it's all theory. It's all like, you go to a master class. Like sometimes you go to a master class with somebody who hasn't been performing for a long time. And it's like you have a feeling it's not in touch with reality. So you might not know because you might be a teenager, but you have a feeling like really it's like. But when you perform, it's the truth. The truth is out there. You play, they play. We play together. It creates also this proximity that the distance between being a student that's on their way up and being a professional. We all have to be on stage. There's positive and challenging things of being on stage, and we all live this together. This is the moment where you go like, okay, I belong.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so performing is like the X-Files? The truth is out there?
Believe me, I thought of that too, Merwin.
No, but seriously, I mean, I when I was young, I'd go to a master class and I'd go like, yeah, but can you do it? It's like you just want to know, can you do it?
We've all been to those master classes, I think.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Vanessa?
I didn't play a lot of chamber music with my teachers and mentors, but I did play in the orchestra a lot with my teachers and mentors. And I remember my primary horn teacher was Dave Ohanian, who was with the Canadian Brass for a long time, and Empire Brass and Boston Symphony. And I remember playing Tchaikovsky's First Piano Concerto, and he was playing principal, and I think I was playing third horn. And he tore me a new one at the end of that rehearsal because of my body language and demeanor, and I think I might have been a little bit late on an entrance one time, and I mean that was a true lesson. It wasn't in how I played, it was more about my mental state and my attitude, and I just sat up straight the rest of the time. So that was interesting.
Nice. I do want to say, Rachel, we're not quite finished with you yet, because I know we normally have a quiz, but what I've done for this episode is, since you were only here a few episodes ago and you told your story, I'm going to do a Rachel 101 quiz here.
Merwin, okay. I am taking you down.
This is awesome.
I am taking you down.
There's only 5 questions here, so it should be easy.
It hasn't been that exciting of a life, I guess.
To get through.
I probably should have listened to that episode.
Okay. Yeah, Rachel, you can't answer these, right? Because you'll probably know.
I will.
Oh no!
Unless
What
you're
if I
not
get
sure.
them wrong? Will she still be my
Okay.
friend?
I don't know. The pressure's on.
All right. How many sisters does Rachel have?
3, 2. Shoot.
How many sisters does she have?
2.
Is it 3 or 2?
2.
It's 2. There's 3 if you
It's
count
3,
Rachel.
including Rachel.
Wow,
Oh.
that was a very conductor dilemma. Is it 3? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 2?
Just look for the downbeat.
Totally. All right, I'm giving that one to Merwin. Okay. Next question. What instrument were Rachel and her sisters forced to play as youngsters?
Kazoo.
Not kazoo. What instrument? I'm not giving you multiple choice here. You guys.
Violin.
Piano.
Yeah, Vanessa got it.
I wouldn't have continued to play it if I was forced to play it, so that's why I wasn't sure.
I'm just using Rachel's. I'm using Rachel's words.
My sisters were definitely forced to play, and then I begged.
There are 2 sisters.
Yeah.
I could play. Yeah.
I'm giving that one to Merwin. Okay. Because Rachel was in here. Rachel was in here playing air piano, so. Okay, how old was Rachel when she took her first piano lessons with the old lady down the street?
So good,
How
Brad.
old was she?
7.
I have a feeling we could go through a lot of buzzers here. Let's say it's below 5.
4.
3.
Okay.
Elaine gets a point.
1 to Elaine.
I think this one should go to Merwin.
I totally agree.
Okay, this will be easy. Where did Rachel go for undergrad school?
You would think that would be easy. That is something I should probably.
Okay, for undergrad. Where did Rachel go for her undergrad? Not very far away, just a couple of hours.
Cleveland Institute
I'm giving that one to Merwin.
of Podiatry.
Yes, her piano unfortunately had no foot pedal. So, okay, last question. Finally, what educational system did Rachel start out hating, but now she loves it?
Suzuki.
Everybody gets that one.
I feel so loved.
I feel like I need
So
to
the winner of
study
the
up.
quiz, the winner of the quiz is
Alan, I think.
Merwin.
it's Merwin, but I'm going to give it to Rachel. We'll give it to
Yay,
Rachel.
Rachel's
Yay.
the winner. Aw.
Rachel is the winner of that.
I love
Rachel.
this.
If you had asked anything about dogs or foods she doesn't like to eat, like
Or
I
Rachel's
totally-
dogs?
Yeah, I would have
Okay.
totally.
Yeah,
nailed it.
Vanessa would have won that. We
Now,
should.
let me ask you a question. I know you have dogs,
Yeah.
Vanessa, and you've talked about your dog that
Yeah.
you can't take out in public.
Yeah, that one.
And you have a dog or dogs or
I have 2 dogs and 2
Okay.
cats.
so do they have they all met each
Oh,
other?
yeah, we
these
hang out.
animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
They're
they
best
get along.
friends.
Yeah,
So your problem dog gets along with Rachel's dogs?
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
We've been
Wow.
on pack walks. Well, a pack walk.
Nice. Good to hear.
I would be more impressed if the cats were also on said walk.
Not so. So my dogs met the cats for the first time a couple of days ago, and it was
Yeah, that wasn't so great.
not so great for the cats.
They were a little traumatized, but whatever.
I
They're
just
cats,
have
you
one
can't tell.
cat. I have one cat who lives under my couch.
Oh,
That's basically it. Anyway, speaking of cats, let's talk a little bit about Beethoven now.
I don't-
Because
don't you
there's
mean
another
dogs?
concert happening. I know, Elaine, you have to go. Do you need to leave us, or are you going to stick around?
Well, I have another 5 minutes, so I'll stick
Okay.
around.
You can leave quietly before we get to our next quiz.
I shall.
Merwin, give us a little rundown on, because, this year you've been doing Beethoven 250. There were a lot of celebrations for the 250th anniversary of his birth, and a lot of those celebrations fell by the wayside or had to be restructured, including what you had planned originally. But this is sort of the final tip of the hat to Beethoven, this program, right, with the Razumovsky on it. Can you give us a little rundown? And let me pull up. This is not Razumovsky number 1. I actually only had access to Razumovsky number 2, but it works fine. This will be your background.
Well, I'm sorry, it's E minor. I can't handle the different keys. It's very difficult for me. No, but We were originally planning to do a marathon performance of all of the Beethoven quartets in last August, and unfortunately, that just proved to be, too difficult an endeavor at that point in the pandemic. So we decided to shelve that particular project. We did a wonderful project where we recorded the complete quartets of Daniel Bernard Romain. So definitely that was a very important pivot for us. But we're now returning to a Beethoven quartet, one of the great quartets. It's the Opus 59 number 1 in F major. This is where, I think when you think of Beethoven in the popular imagination, you have this sense of kind of the heroic qualities of Beethoven, and this is really the first quartet to really embrace that kind of scope and depth. It's not the heroic symphony of quartets, but it's really that sort of idea where you're really blowing up the scope and the epic feel of it, and it's just such a fun piece to play.
Yeah, and this is one of the 3 Razumovsky, so-called Razumovsky quartets, because they were commissioned by a prince of that name who was the Russian ambassador to Vienna, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, what you said.
Just in case anybody's curious why it's called Razumovsky. Tell us about the other works, because they're, now for something completely different, you've got 2 modern works paired with this Beethoven.
Well, I'll let Alen talk a little bit about the Sforzini, if that's okay. And I'll talk a tiny bit about the Lee Heritage piece that begins the program. It's called Some Other Place. And it's really surprisingly appropriate because this was originally from a theatrical production that Lee had scored like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was called Masks. So it just feels an entirely appropriate gesture to take something from a play called Masks and put it in 2021. It was a very different play about a very different but topical problem in Northwest Ohio, for sure. It was a play about human trafficking, and the music has a very, it is reflecting that it's almost incidental music from a play, but it's abstracted from that and rescored by Lee for 2 flutes and piano. So Lee's wife, Amy, along with Joel C., will be performing that with pianist Claire Cho, who's a faculty member of the Toledo Symphony School of Music.
Yeah, Lee's wife, Amy, plays in the symphony, the flutist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Elaine, you want to tell us a little bit about this piece by Mark Sforzini?
Yeah, well, actually, I'll tell you about Mark Sforzini. When we had the program about, where you had my piece and then something by Strauss, it could have been a program like that because he's how do you say, he's a bit of a Renaissance man kind of guy because he played the bassoon. He conducts at the opera. I think, help me if I'm wrong, is it Tampa Bay? I'm trying to think. And down in Florida. He's a very fine opera conductor. He writes music. He got commissioned, his chamber music mentor. So that's what's interesting about this, that in this program, the string quartet, those string quartets for Beethoven, they're very important. Exactly as Merwin said, it's it's like the middle. They call it the middle part string quartet, but it's where Beethoven started to have his own personality. I mean, he always did, but really composition-wise, people would turn heads and say, "Really, you're going that direction?" Mm-hmm. And he was starting to be light years ahead of everybody. But it's a massive piece, and it's just strings. So it's nice in the first half. We have the piece that Amy will play. That's another wonderful thing that Amy, our second flautist, is going to perform in this work by her husband. But we have, after that, an entire woodwind quintet that plays with piano. This piece is for woodwind quintet and piano. So it gives you different colors. It's very, very, very tonal. It's very vocal, I would say. That first one is an adagio. It starts with a very slow movement. You can almost think it's part of an opera when you listen at the beginning. So it's interesting that this first piece by Lee Heritage is taken from an opera, and the second piece is written by somebody who writes a lot of music and conducts for opera and conducts a lot of operas as well. So it has this very vocal style of woodwind playing. I mean, there's some virtuosic stuff after, But it's interesting that we see the woodwind instruments in that light and in that color, and that would make for a very nice first half that way also. In some ways, even if it's music from, like our time, the Beethoven is much more revolutionary and more modern than what we have now. So it's very interesting to see the dichotomy between the two times.
This concert is happening Sunday at 7 o'clock p.m. It's being live streamed, and they do have in-person tickets, I want to mention. You can live stream it at stream.artstoledo.com or go to toledosymphony.com or call up the box office, 419-246-8000. Get more information about it. Elaine, before we do the quiz, which we may have to push off to our podcast version anyway, I want to thank you for coming on. I know you got to run, so let me give you a little exit applause. Thanks for joining us.
You didn't get a good job, guys?
Good job, Elaine.
I was looking for it. I was looking for it, but it moved off of my soundboard. Hang on.
She got an agent. That's why.
She got it.
Good job, guys.
Oh.
There we go. Yeah, she got
Okay,
an
bye,
agent.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. I guess we know he's gone. All right. Okay, we're back. Now, it's time for our second quiz of the day. And we've had a couple of Beethoven quizzes over the course of this year with the Beethoven 250 Festival going on. We had a Beethoven and beer quiz, and then we had a quiz about Beethoven, fun facts about Beethoven. That was Beethoven 101. So now we're at Beethoven 2.0. This is kind of... some of the questions are reminiscent of what we've asked in the past, and some of them are new, but I don't know that you were here for any of those, Rachel.
I was not.
Yeah, so you're definitely going to win this quiz. Okay.
I don't remember being here for them either, and that might be a bad sign.
Okay.
If I was.
The winner is
This is going to be
Merwin.
a quiz entirely about St. Bernard.
The winner is Merle.
Yes, a quiz about St. Bernard's. I love that. I wish I'd have thought of it. Oh, well. Too late. Okay, I've only got 7 questions here.
We need some quiz music for sure.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, here we go.
Goodness gracious.
We know that Beethoven's dad was terrible and very strict. He also projected his own unfulfilled desires on young Ludwig. Was his father a failed composer, a failed pianist, or a failed singer?
I'm going to go with singer.
No, that's right, actually. Yeah.
He was a failed soundboard operator.
Exactly. Okay. Why was Beethoven so bad at math? He was what would now be called dyslexic, he dropped out of school, or he wasn't. A, B, or C?
A.
C.
I'll go with C.
Wait,
Procrastination pays off.
one more chance.
Or is this one of those none of the above ones?
No,
I'll go with C.
wait.
No,
So that's what I said.
What Rachel
I mean, I'll
Yeah.
go with B.
Yay!
All right, Rachel gets that one. Yeah, he
Thanks,
dropped
Erwin.
out of school.
Whee!
When he was 11 years old, he dropped out of school to work and support his family. And he never learned his math, okay? How old was Beethoven when his first piece of music was published? Was he 7, 12, or 18?
12.
18. Oh.
It's 12, actually. His piano variations. Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
7 was Mozart. 18, I don't know who that was. Okay.
Merwin.
That was Merwin when he wrote his first piece, published piece. Okay, when Beethoven moved to Vienna in his early 20s, he made a name for himself playing in Viennese salons. What did he play? Was it Haydn, was it Bach, or was it Mozart?
Haydn.
I'm going to go with Bach.
Yeah. He was well known for playing well-tempered clavier as background music in Viennese salons. I think as an experiment, some like jazz pianist should play through the well-tempered clavier next time they're in the lounge. See how that works out?
Uh-huh.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah. Okay. Beethoven was the first famous composer to what? To go deaf, to get paid to write what he wanted, or to write solo music for the pianoforte?
I'll go with to get paid to
Yeah.
write what he wanted.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, I mean, there were a bunch of rich Viennese folks who basically gave him a salary, and as long as he stayed in Vienna. Okay. It's reported that Beethoven did what before he started to compose? Was it dunk his head in cold water? Was it drink a bottle of rosé? Or was it smoke a hookah? A, B, or C?
B.
Wait, what's B? No.
No. Okay,
That's a no.
thanks. I got it. I got it wrong. I understand.
Okay. So
I really want to go all of the above.
it was.
What a great state of mind that would be.
I'm just picturing that right now.
I know, right?
Okay, we still have A and C. Dunk his head in cold water or smoke a hookah.
I'll take C. Why not?
Okay, no. It was dunk his head in
Way
cold
to go,
water.
Merwin.
Yes, the afterthought A is a very Canadian response.
Okay, last question. Beethoven wrote only one opera, but he wrote 4 overtures for it. Which one of these came first? Was it Leonora number 1, Leonora number 2, or Leonora number 3? Now, Leonora is the name, of course, of the character Fidelio before she becomes Fidelio. I know it's very confusing, but then again, it's opera, so folks can look that up on their own. So which one of the overtures came first? Leonora 1, 2, or 3?
I think 3.
I'm going to say 2.
Yeah, it was Leonora number 2.
How come he only ever play number 3, though? Number 3 is the only one that ever gets played, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know.
This just goes to show that he should have stayed in school and done his math class.
Exactly. He was bad at math. That explains that. Well done. Okay, winner of the quiz number 2 is definitely Rachel because that was hilarious. Okay. Well done, guys.
Good job.
Okay, we'll take off the epic Beethoven battle music there. I do want to mention again there are a couple of concerts that we talked about today. One of them is happening tonight, but if you're listening to the podcast, it's probably already passed. But you can learn more about the Young Artist Competition and educational ongoings at Toledo Symphony at their website, toledosymphony.com. The other concert is Beethoven's Razumovsky. That is happening Sunday. If you're hearing this in time to make that concert, it's open to the public with COVID-19 restrictions. It will also be live streamed at stream.artstoledo.com. One of the Razumovsky quartets of Beethoven paired with music of Lee Heritage and Mark Sforzini. And you can find that at ToledoSymphony.com, as I mentioned, or at 419-246-8000. This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony, with generous support from the Rita Barber Kern Foundation. You can download episodes of this program as a podcast by going to our website at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple and Google Podcasts. Don't forget to check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony by visiting their website at toledosymphony.com and their various social media outlets on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find the TSO streaming concerts online again at stream.artstoledo.com. My thanks to Vanessa Gardner, Merwin Sue, Elaine Trudell, and our special guest, Rachel Schultz. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab from FM 91.